Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for joining this Friday Bhagavad Gita class. So today we'll be discussing Bhagavad Gita Chapter 5 from verse 4 onwards. So before we start, we will sing Jai Radha Madhava for the pleasure of the Lordship. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Jai Radha Madhava कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोधनंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यशोधनंदन ब्रजजन रंजन यमुना तीरावनचारि यमुना तीरावनचारि यमुना तीरावनचारि यमुना तीरा पंचारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ श्री राधे जय राधा गोपीनाथ राधा गोपीनाथ श्री राधे जय यशोमती नंदन दामोदरा जय यशोमती नंदन दामोदरा जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौरा हरि बोल श्री श्री राधा गोपीनाथ भगवान की जय यशोमती नंदन दामोदर भगवान की जय इज लविंग डिवाइन ग्रेस एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी तुपाद की जय, जगत गुरु शिला गुरुदेव की जय, समस्त गौर भक्त वृंद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम अज्ञानातिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्ण चैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखावितंश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमः ओम महावदन्याय कृष्णा प्रेमा प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। नमो ब्राह्मण्य देवाय गौ ब्राह्मणाय हिताय च जगद्दीताय कृष्णाय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेष्वभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. So, welcome back again to this Friday Bhagavad Gita class. Thank you very much for joining in. So, as we discussed in the last week, so we are doing chapter 5 of Bhagavad Gita. So, I will share the screen. So, last week, our Grace Radhapriya Mataji has beautifully covered few chapters, sorry, few verses of this chapter. So, we are going to she finished until text number 3 on chapter 5. So I'll just do one thing before we go to text number 4. We will just try to understand the context. So we will go to the verse 5.3. So in 5.3, Krishna is saying that one who neither hates nor desires the fruit. Just one second, I'll share the screen so it becomes easy for all of us to refer to. Just give me a minute. Sorry. Okay, thank you very much. So here Krishna says, one who neither hates nor desires the fruit of activities is known to be always renounced. Such a person, free from all dualities, easily overcome material bondage and is completely liberated. O mighty armed Arjuna. So this chapter is called as Karma Yoga, which is action in Krishna consciousness. So here, Krishna is trying to explain to Arjuna that Arjuna, in the previous chapter, he says that if intelligence is better, then why should we fight? So here, Krishna is explaining that yes, jnana is important, but one also needs to perform his activities. And now Krishna is going to explain how to use jnana again in service of Krishna that will lead one to activities in performing karma yoga, that is in Krishna consciousness. So here, first Krishna is explaining in text number 3, that is, one who neither hates nor desires the fruit of his activities is known to be always renounced. So this is one of the first quality of a person who is acting in sannyasa, that is renounced order. Right now, renounced order has got three different meanings, right? But here, especially, Krishna is talking about performing the activities, right? Krishna is not saying that one should not do the activity and straight away go to renunciation or take sannyasa, right? So here, Krishna has explained what is the first quality of person understanding what is sannyasa. So the first quality here is that one should actually do the activities without having any hate nor having desires, right, from the act, from the fruits of that activity. So one should not be looking at the fruits of the activities before performing his activities, right? So that then that means a person is actually callous, that is, he does not care about the actions or reactions, but he actually does it as a duty, as his prescribed duty. Then that person is to consider that he has the first quality of doing an action in renounced order. Now here it says such a person is free from all dualities. That is, he's not looking from dualities means sukha and dukkha. That means he's not looking for any happiness, nor he is actually trying to get rid of it because it is going to give him some sort of, what do you say, miseries, right? And by doing that activity just to please the Supreme Lord is a prescribed activity that is to be done as per his prescribed duties and those duties which are explained in the Shastras. That is again the Jnana. The Jnana comes from where? The Jnana comes from the Vedas, right? That is from the scriptures. So Jnana cannot be manufactured, right? As we know, Jnana is actually given by three sources. First is the scriptures, then is the sadhu, right? And the devotees, right? So we need to learn that this jnana that we're talking about, that the supreme knowledge, right, is coming from a disciplic succession, right? And that disciplic succession is authorized disciplic succession, which has not only understood the jnana, that is the knowledge, the spiritual knowledge, but they have also practiced it and they have applied it in their lives. And you can see the results of such application in one's life. In that case, what happens? Such a person can easily overcome the material bondage because any activity that we do will cause some sort of material bondage. But an activity that is done based on the teachings of the parampara and one follows those activities as given to us by the parampara and he applies it in daily life, then those activities will actually help him to overcome material bondage. And that is the first stage of complete liberation, right? That means a person is not bound. That means he's not bound from for any reactions. So that means he's liberated to perform the actions, but at the same time, he will not have to go or be a part of any material bondage, right? So then Krishna goes on to explain what is what how people actually misunderstand or they consider that karma, that is action, and jnana are two different things, right? So here Krishna is explaining in the verse 5.4. So it says Sankhya Yogo Pritagbala Pravadanti na Pandita Ekamapya Astitha Samyag Ubayor Vindate Phalam. So here Krishna is saying the translation. Let's do the word to word translation. So here Krishna is saying that Sankhya means analytical study of the material world. That means analytical study of the what is the difference between matter and spirit, right? So this study, which is analytical study of understanding what is material and what is spiritual, that is called as Sankhya, right? So Sankhya Yoga, work in devotional service. Yoga means actually connecting through some sort of action. So that's why Prabhupada says use the word yoga is defined as work in devotional service, not just devotional service, but work in devotional service. That means one has to perform the actions, right? Pratak, that is different. Balaha, the less intelligent. Pravadanti says. Na, never, panditaha, the learned. Ekam, in one, api, even, astitaha, being situated, samyak, complete, ubayo, of both, vindate, enjoys, phalam, the results. So translation by His Loving Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So only the ignorant speak of devotional service, that is Karma Yoga, as being different from the analytical study of the material world, that is Sankhya. Those who are actually learned say that he who applies himself well to one of these paths achieves the results of the both. Right? So let's understand the meaning to it, and that's given in the purport. So please pay attention. It says the aim of the analytical study of the material world is to find the soul of existence. The soul of the material world is Vishnu, or the super soul. Devotional service to the Lord entails service to the super soul. One process is to find the root of the tree, and the other is to water the roots. The real student of Sankhya philosophy finds the roots of the material world, Vishnu, and then, in perfect knowledge, engages himself in the service of the Lord. Therefore, in essence, there is no difference between the two because the aim of both is Vishnu. Those who do not know the ultimate end say that the purposes of Sankhya and Karma Yoga are not the same, but one who learns knows the unifying aim in these different processes. Okay, so Prabhupada is clearly explaining what is the misconception of the people, that they understand that Sankhya philosophy is different and Karma Yoga is different. But whereas Krishna is clearly explaining that this Sankhya philosophy and Karma Yoga, any of them that you actually perform, any of them a person applies in his life, as been given in the scriptures, right? Or as been directed by the parampara, by the guru or the sadhu or the shastras. When we do that, what will happen? We will achieve the results of the benefits of best of the both worlds, right? So how is that? So let's understand. So here, Prabhupada is clearly explaining here that the analytical study of the material world is to find the soul of the existence, right? So why is this Sankhya knowledge or this Sankhya Yoga is important? Sankhya Yoga means we actually understand who we are, why we are, where do we come from, and what is the goal, right? So first is Sankhya, means we actually do analytic study, right, as to why we are born. Second thing is, if we are born, then why we are born as a human being. If you're born as a human being, then what is our goal so that we can use this human body, or what is the goal of having this human body? What is the purpose of having this human body? Now, once you understand the purpose of this human body, that means then one need to understand or aspire is to understand what is the goal of having this human body, right? So here Sankhya means it actually explains who we are. And as it's been explained in chapter 2, that is the first thing is that we need to know that we are not the body, we are the soul. Right, understood. As Prabhupada says here, one process is to find the roots of the tree. So definitely you found the root of the tree is that we are not the body, but we are the soul. But does it finish there? No. It is to understand that once you know that you are not the body, you are the soul, then what is our goal of having being in this body? And what if we are not the body, we are the soul, then what is the thing that will actually make the soul reach its ultimate destination or give its ultimate pleasure, right? So that is called as watering, or the other part is water the roots. So that means if the soul is there, we need to satisfy the soul. For example, when we have a body, right? We are in a body and there is a soul. For the body, we do everything. That is, we eat, drink, look after this body very well, right? We majority of the time we actually look after the body only, right? So whatever that we're doing is to keep ourselves happy, right? But then the question arises is, this body is there, but why is it existing? Is because of the soul. So then, isn't there a need to actually satisfy the soul also? right? So that is what is. So what we should do is that we should actually do something which the soul will be happy. And what is that? It's actually performing devotional service. So, what is the dharma of the soul? Dharma of the soul is to attain its original position. And where does it come from? It comes from Lord Sri Krishna. As Krishna says, Mama Amsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. That means we are part and parcel of Krishna. So that means if we are part and parcel of Krishna, that means what is our happiness? Where is our happiness? Our happiness is from where we come. That is where we belong to. That is going back to Krishna. And how do we go back to Krishna? Is by performing devotional service. And that is why here it says that this process is called as watering the roots, right? So first we understand what is the goal, what is the soul, and then the other thing is how to make the soul happy, right? That is, we have to perform the activities. Now the soul is in the body. So who is performing the activity? It is the body that is performing it. Because now the body is engaged in service of Krishna, as Prabhupada says that any activity that we do in Krishna consciousness is not a material activity. It automatically becomes transcendental and spiritual activity because we are actually using this body in service of Krishna. So in this way, we are actually doing an activity with which we actually get the knowledge, and we are using that knowledge in our action, and that action is to serve Krishna. So in this case, we are actually going on the path of devotional service. So that is actually the explanation in this verse. So we need to understand that we all come from Krishna, and that is why Prabhupada in the last line of this verse he says, "Those who do not know the ultimate end says that the purpose of Sankhya and Karma Yoga are not the same, but one who is learned knows the unifying aim in these two processes." Unifying aim means there is one common aim. Why do we have Sankhya Yoga? So that we can understand that we are not the body, we are the soul. At least that knowledge is important, right? And then when you know that you got a body, how to use it in service of Krishna. So when you do these things, that means both the process are eventually taking you where? Taking you to the goal to understand that we have to serve Krishna. The aim of life is to serve Krishna. So let's go on to understand in text number 5. यसाङ्ख्ये प्राप्यते स्थानं तद्योगिरपि गम्यते एकं साङ्ख्यं च योगं च ह्यः पश्यति स पश्यति. So word to word translation, it says, yet what Sankhya, by means of Sankhya philosophy, prapyate is achieved, sthanam place, tat that, yoge by devotional service, api also, gamyate one can attain, ekam one, sankyam analytical study, cha and yogam, that is action in devotion, cha and ya, one who pashyate sees, sa he pashyati actually sees. So let's read the translation. Translation by Sri Loving Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. One who knows that the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service, and who therefore sees analytical study and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are. So this is the most important part, that is, he sees the analytical studies and devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are. So we will try to understand through the purports. So the real purpose of philosophical research is to find the ultimate goal of life. Since the ultimate goal of life is self-realization, there is no difference between the conclusion reached by the two processes. By Sankhya, philosophical research, one can come to the conclusion that a living entity is not a part and parcel of the material world, but of the Supreme Spirit whole. Consequently, the spirit soul has nothing to do with the material world. His action must be in some relationship with the Supreme. When he acts in Krishna consciousness, he is actually in the constitutional position. In the first process, Sankhya, one has to become detached from matter. And in devotional yoga process, one has to attach himself to the work of Krishna consciousness. Factually, both processes are the same. Although superficial, one process appears to involve detachment and the other process appears to involve attachment. Detachment from matter and attachment to Krishna are one and the same. One who sees these things, one who sees things as they are. So, again in this Prabhupada is emphasizing the fact that one needs to understand that this Sankhya philosophy is to be considered important and is actually a stepping stone, right? Why? Because it's a stepping stone of self-realization, which is called as Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Means we need to understand that if we are human beings, so what is the difference? If we are human beings, the difference is that we have higher intelligence than other living beings. Why did Krishna choose to give higher intelligence to human beings? Because there is, if someone has got a, say, a higher position, if one is having higher position in a company, in a place where he works, that means he's got higher responsibilities, right? And that means he is given the task where he can use his intelligence to do the things very easily and attain the goal, right? It's the same way. Krishna has given us a higher designation, and the highest designation in his creation is the, the form of a human being. Krishna has given the soul a human form, and that human form has got higher intelligence. Now, what is the use of that higher intelligence? The use of higher intelligence is not to do eating, meeting, sleeping, and defending. Why? Because even the animals, any living being in this world is actually doing the same thing. There's nothing as different, right? But what is the difference is that? The difference is that with this intelligence, he can actually understand why should he not do the things that the whole world is doing, but try to do something with which he can understand the real goal of life, or how and why he has been connected. What is relationship? Is it relationship with the Prakriti? No. Is it a relationship with the people around us? No, because Prakriti is a creation and we get to enjoy this Prakriti as long as with this body. The moment this body dies, our relationship with Prakriti is finished. Same thing, our relationship with our family and friends is also finished, right? Then one needs to understand that if he's not to use his intelligence in eating, meeting, sleeping, and defending, right? Not in trying to make his life comfortable with the use of the Prakriti around us, right? And is not just to look after his family and friends, then what is it? Why is he born? So, in that case, this Sankhya philosophy will help us to understand that we are not the body, we are the soul. And then our relationship of the soul is with the Supreme Lord. And the goal of our life is to be serving to the Lord. Now, how do we serve the Lord? Is it that easy to serve the Lord? So, Prabhupada is giving the explanation here. He says that one needs to perform bhakti yoga, that is devotional service, right? So, here it's again the most important part is not just devotion, the important part is performing the services also. Because every time that we talk about devotion, people think, oh, it is so easy. Yes, let's do a 60 round of chanting, we do the worship, that's it. No, that is incomplete, because our devotional is not complete unless and until we perform the service. Service to whom is another very important part. Yes, you're doing only to Krishna, but when is Krishna happy? We need to understand that part also. Yes, when we do the worship, when we do the chanting, yes, Krishna is happy. But Krishna is more happy when we not only serve Krishna, but we serve his devotees also. Right? Because that process, when we serve the devotees of the Lord, what happens? We actually get the blessings of the devotee. We get the knowledge how to serve Krishna better. Right? The whole idea of establishing this society for Krishna consciousness is not only give to knowledge, but to engage every living being in service of Krishna and his devotee. And that is how we actually are connected to Krishna. Because Krishna says in the end of Bhagavad Gita, what does he say? He says that the real devotee is the one who is actually serving my devotee. And that devotee is serving other devotee. That service is serving other devotees. So the goal of actually following Krishna consciousness is the service. Service, but how? Is not in terms of attachment. That is again Krishna is saying, as we spoke, as we read in the previous verse in 3 and 4, that one should also serve with the view not for material benefit, not for any fruitive activities. One should serve with the attachment to please Krishna and his devotees. That is very important, right? Or else any service that we do in the name of devotion, but our motive is to have some material opulence or material gains or higher material intelligence, then that will also be fulfilled. But eventually, because it's material nature, it will be temporary. And on top of that, that happiness will also bring along with it miseries. And most important part, those activities will actually bind us in this material world. That means we will not be liberated. So what does Krishna says that? Yes, what we have to do is do the service. How we do the service? Under the guidance of the parampara system, under the guidance of the scriptures, under the guidance of the Vaishnavas, under the guidance of our spiritual master, under the guidance of the instructions of our senior acharyas. Everything is given to us in the books. Prabhupada said that devotional service is not at all difficult. Why? Because one does not have to use his brain trying to find a ways and means how to perform devotional service. No, you don't have to. Because the acharyas, this parampara, these books, the scriptures, they have already given us the pathways. All that we need to do is simply walk on it, right? You know the pathway, you know how we can actually serve Krishna, how we can serve the devotees. That's it. Just simply follow that. And definitely one fine day, our services will not only be appreciated, acknowledged, but at the same time, that service will actually give us love to serve Krishna and his devotees more. Because what is Krishna consciousness? Krishna consciousness is nothing but a process by which we can love Krishna and we can develop eternal relationship with Krishna. And there is a process. Process is to simply follow the method that is being given to us by our acharyas. Right? So here then Prabhupada goes on to say, so once a person who understands that this Sankhya philosophy is based on the fact that one needs to attain devotional service. Here as he says, one who knows the position reached by means of analytical study can also be attained by devotional service. That means the moment when we do devotional service to the Supreme Lord, what happens? We will actually get all the knowledge. How we get the knowledge? Because we have pleased the Vaishnavas. And the Vaishnavas are most, what you say, merciful people. That's why we say, Vancha kalpataro vescha kripa sindhubhya evacha patita nama pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. That means our association and our service to the Vaishnavas, to the devotees of the Lord, what will it do? It will purify us. It's exactly what the devotional service does. When we serve Krishna, Krishna also purifies us. It's the same way. When we actually serve the devotees of Krishna, what will happen? We will also get purified. Right? Then what happens is it says, Vancha kalpataro bescha kripa sindhube evacha patita nama pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namanam. So it says that service, the blessings of the of the Vaishnavas is very merciful. Vaishnavas are very merciful, and they actually give that mercy. Where did they collect that mercy? They collected that mercy by the devotional service to the Supreme Lord and to the Vaishnavas again. So they have received that Vaishnava, that mercy. But the Vaishnavas are the one who don't keep that mercy with them. Rather, they distribute it. They give it to everyone. So that's why it says, Vancha kalpataro bescha kripa sindhube evacha patita nama pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo nama. So it says, we actually have to serve the devotees of the Lord with love and with no expectation whatsoever. Our expectation is just to please Krishna through these devotees. And they will actually bless us so much that we will actually get the knowledge to serve Krishna, and we can be firm and determined in serving Krishna. Because just by performing devotional service, we can actually get Krishna, right? But if we don't do it sincerely, then what happens? We will actually get into some sort of material concoction, and that will actually deviate us from serving the Krishna. So the most important part here is that we actually follow the scriptures, follow the parampara, follow the Vaishnavas. And when we do that, here is what the most important part has been given in this purport is that detachment from matter. Because the Vaishnavas will give us the supreme knowledge, what will happen? Automatically, we will detach from these material activities, and our attachment toward Krishna will increase. So one needs to understand that this service that we're talking about, right? That is, what is the service? Service is actually associating with devotees. How do you associate with devotees? Actually, by coming to the programs, right? We have so many opportunities to learn about Krishna, to discuss about Krishna. And what are those opportunities? The opportunity is that we actually participate in the programs. Not only that, how do we please Krishna and his devotees? By partaking in services like cooking, right? Or setting up the hall, right? Or doing some menial services like cleaning, right? Those activities will actually attract Krishna. Krishna is more pleased when we do the services. And why we do doing services? Not to show off. That should not be the aim. The aim should be, yes, we got an opportunity to serve Krishna. Because this life that we are in this body is not permanent, right? We may actually leave this body at any time. So any opportunity that you get, you should actually think that's a greatest opportunity for me to attain the love of Krishna, right? Because these activities will develop attachment towards Krishna. And when person is attached to Krishna, automatically he gets detached from the material activities and material propensity. And when we look at this as a goal of life, that means detachment from material activities and attachment to Krishna is actually the goal of performing devotional service. This is actually the goal of any activity, any process that we take, whether that is Sankhya, and then that leads to Jnana, and then that leads to Karma, and then that leads to services, right? We actually have to engage our knowledge, that is Krishna conscious knowledge, not only in doing the sadhana, but also expanding it. And actually, we can say in this way that the full potency of the blessings of Krishna is in service, right? So when we serve, we will actually grow. If we don't serve, the growth is very low and very slow. We may not be able to do it in this lifetime. That's why Krishna says, that's why Prabhupada, when he actually gave the definition or a translation to the word bhakti, he did not say just say devotion. He said devotional service. That's very important. And if you look at Srila Prabhupada, right, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, what he did? First, he did service, right? And he served every person, every living entity. Doesn't matter that he was a devotee or not, but Srila Prabhupada served every living entity because he saw Krishna in them. And all that he found was these souls have no knowledge about Krishna consciousness, and they are actually in misery. That is the real misery of life. That they don't know anything about Krishna consciousness. So what did Srila Prabhupada do? Srila Prabhupada gave them Krishna consciousness. He served them first. He served them so wholeheartedly that they automatically started following Srila Prabhupada. And then Srila Prabhupada gave them the knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And today we all are serving all these devotees. Today it's a very big congregation. Today is one of the only congregation that actually teaches how to live in harmony in this entire world. It does not, what you say, discriminate on the basis of race, color, gender, or any geographical position wherever we are from, or any sort of material opulence. No, all that it looks is on the platform of serving the super soul in everyone. And that is what is called as seeing everything as it is, as what is there here. That devotional service to be on the same level, sees things as they are. This is how we should look at the things. That means everything is connected to Krishna and everything is to be used in service of Krishna. And when we use that, when we perform those activities, that is called as devotional service. So let's go on to understand the next verse. That is text number 6. Sannyasyastu mahabaho dukham aptum ayogataha yoga yukto munir brahma nachirenadikachati. Can I ask some Prabhujis and Matajis to please recite this verse? If you can, please.
Sannyasasthu mahabahu dukkam aptum ayogataha yoga yukto munir brahma na chirenadhigachiti. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Sannyasasthu mahabaho dukham aptum ayogita yogayukto manirbrahma nachirenadhigacchati. Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Thank you very much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. So, let's do this synonyms word by word. Sannyasa, the renounced order of life. Tu, but. Mahabhav, O mighty armed one. Dukkham, distress. Aptum, afflicts. One with. Ayogataha, without devotional service. Yoga Yukta, one engaged in devotional service. Munihi, a thinker. Brahma, the supreme. Achirena, without delay. Adhigachati, attains. So here, translation by Loving Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. So merely renouncing all activities, yet not engaging in devotional service of the Lord, cannot make one happy. But a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay, which is called as na chirena adi kachati. So let's listen to the purport and understand this. There are two classes of sannyasis: a person in the renounced order of life. The Mayava sannyasis are engaged in the study of Sankhya philosophy, whereas the Vaishnava sannyasis are engaged in the study of Bhagavatam philosophy, which efforts the proper commentary on the Vedanta Sutra. The Mayavad sannyasis also study the Vedanta Sutra, but use their own commentary called as Sariraka Bhashya, written by Shankaracharya. The students of the Bhagavata school are engaged in devotional service of the Lord according to Panchartrika regulations, and therefore the Vaishnava sannyasis have multiple engagements in the devotional service of the Lord. The Vaishnava sannyasis have nothing to do with the material activities, and yet they perform various activities in the devotional service to the Lord. But the Mayava sannyasis, engaged in the study of Sankhya and Vedanta and speculation, cannot relish the transcendental service of the Lord because their studies become very tedious. They sometimes become tired of Brahma speculation and thus they take shelter of the Bhagavatam without proper understanding. Consequently, their study to the Srimad Bhagavatam becomes troublesome, dry speculation and interpersonal interpretations, dry speculation and impersonal interpretations by artificial means are all useless for Mayavadi sannyasis. The Vaishnava sannyasis who are engaged in devotional service are happy in the discharge of their transcendental duties, and they have the guarantee of ultimate entrance in the kingdom of God. The Mayavadi sannyasis sometimes fall down from the path of self realization and again enter into the material activities of philanthropic and altruistic nature, which are nothing but material engagement. Therefore, the conclusion is that those who are engaged in Krishna conscious activities are better situated than the sannyasis engaged in simple speculation about what is Brahman and what is not Brahman, although they too come to Krishna consciousness after many births. So, it's a very important verse in terms of understanding the two types of sannyasis. So, let us understand why uh, sannyas, that is renunciation is important. So what the renunciation means in simple terms? Renunciation means one does not enjoy or one does not direct his activities for some material gain or an activity that will give him material happiness. Right? So that is one simple small meaning of sannyasa in terms of the attitude with which one should work. That is the most important. So in sannyas also, the attitude with which one works. In that, this is the first and the very basic simple principle. The principle is that one should work without any expectation. That is the first thing, right? Then, as it said, one should not take up the work just because he likes it. And one should not give up the work because he does not like it. So, sannyasa means that, like for example, you will always see in devotional also, you will see some people say, no, I just want to do only this work, right? I like to sing for Krishna, so they want to do only singing. But is that sannyasa? Are you doing it to please Krishna? No. Here, this verse is giving us that answer. It says that one needs to do the service to please Krishna. That's very important. But thinking that only this service is going to please Krishna, that is wrong. Because Krishna is pleased by any activity. He has not given one particular activity. That means one should actually have the attitude of renunciation even in serving Krishna. That means what should be that attitude? Is that, oh, if I do this, Krishna is happy. If I do that, Krishna is not happy. No. Any service that is been given to us according to the scriptures, according to the instructions by our senior acharyas and Vaishnavas, we should do it with all honesty and sincerity, just to please Krishna. More and above that, one should consider that activity as an opportunity with which he can serve Krishna and his devotee. If we become selective, that means we actually have some sort of attachment. That is, we have got the quality of hatred and happiness, right? Or attachment. But in the name of Krishna, no. Like Arjuna. Arjuna had all the knowledge to fight, right? There was no better warrior than Arjuna. But Arjuna said, no, he doesn't want to do it. Why? He says that if I do this, there will be killing. Why you want me to get into this activity? But what did Krishna say? No, you need to understand your prescribed duties. Why you are a warrior is very important. There would have been other warriors also. But why Krishna chose Arjuna to be the best warrior? Because Krishna knew that this situation is going to come in life in the future. That's why he gave all the knowledge to him. Now, after gaining that knowledge, if a person says, no, I don't want to do at the very last minute when the war is starting, do you think he has done justice to whatever he has learned? No. So that sort of sannyasa, that means that sort of an activity that Arjuna is trying to renounce, is actually condemned. Krishna does not allow that. Krishna is clearly saying that every living entity has got a prescribed duty. And in that prescribed duty, one of the prime and the ultimate duty is to serve Krishna. Now, with whatever intelligence that we have, we should engage that intelligence in Krishna. Whatever physical capabilities we have, we should engage that in Krishna. But we should not be selective, because by you being selective, that means you're actually finding some sort of comfort even in serving Krishna, which is you are not having an attitude of renunciation. Attitude of renunciation means one should serve, one should take up the service, not give up the service. That is the most important part here. And that is what Krishna is saying here in this verse. He's saying that one should actually do the service with all honesty. And if he thinks that, no, if I only do this, that is complete devotional service. No, it's not complete devotional service. Right? You are doing at your own comfort. That means you are giving yourself the higher priority. When you're giving yourself the higher priority and comfort, that means you are not doing service to Krishna. That means it's actually a material activity in the name of Krishna consciousness. So Krishna is saying that one should not take up renunciation or take the word sannyasa so easily, because sannyasa means actually accepting everything. Sannyasa doesn't mean renunciation only. Sannyasa means renouncing all material and internal problems or the difficulties or drawbacks that we have, and accepting Krishna as the supreme goal. And when you accept Krishna as the supreme goal, then you will accept to serve everyone in every manner. And that attitude is called as real sannyasa. That is, you are attached to Krishna, as in the previous verse, in the last line, and in the translation, it says that one should be detached to the material activities and get attached to serve Krishna. So this, when we get attached also, there is a criteria that we should think that this is an opportunity that Krishna has found for me so that I can purify myself, so that I can serve Krishna better, so that I can please the devotees of Krishna in a way that they actually realize Krishna consciousness. By we doing an activity in a devotional service also, or in a devotional attire that will not please the devotees, that means that activity is not a Krishna conscious activity. So we actually have to serve. Service is the most important criteria. Of all the 9 processes of devotional service, when I actually heard a lecture in ISKCON temple, Sydney temple, by I think Vidyapurna Swami Maharaj. Vidyapurna Swami Maharaj was asked, like, Maharaj, what we have been given 9 processes of devotional service. Can you please explain which is the best one that I should do, by which I can never fall down from this from this path of Krishna consciousness? Maharaj simply said one thing: take the association of devotees and serve the devotees. Because it's very simple, and he explained very simple in a very nice way. He said, when you are in association of devotees, what you are doing? You're doing Krishna Katha. What you are listening? Shravanam. First is Shravanam. What you are listening? You're listening about Krishna. What you are going to talk is about Krishna. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smarana. What are you remembering? What is your memory full of? When you actually in this program, when you're listening to this lecture, you're not listening to me, you're listening about Krishna. How Krishna is so merciful that he's given you opportunity to listen to him and purify yourself. Purify from all the material kalmasha that we have in us, right? Contamination that every living entity is carrying in it. So Krishna is purifying, right? So this 9 process of bhakti will actually grow even better. We will be even better devotees. All our services will get even better only when we actually understand and execute all those services in service of Krishna and his devotees by taking association of the devotees. If there is no association of devotees, we can just sit under a tree and do all the devotion by singing and chanting or by worshipping alone and chanting alone. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, in one of his lecture, in one of his quote, he says that whom are we trying to fool just by sitting under a tree and chanting when we really don't know the essence of Krishna consciousness is in serving the devotees and understanding and progressing means we all actually come together and talk about Krishna and serve Krishna and serve each other. What? We serve Krishna to each other. In this way, we will actually grow. So here Prabhupada is saying that merely renouncing all the activities yet not engaging in devotional service of the Lord cannot make one happy. So the real happiness is in performing devotional service. Again, here the word is very important, that is devotional service. Very important. We have to serve. Then only we'll find the real happiness. And what will happen when we do that? We cannot actually read all the scriptures, right? There are people think, oh, no, I need to know every verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. I need to know every verse in Bhagavad Gita. I need to be super perfect in devotional service. Then only I can be good in devotional service. No. Here Krishna is giving the answer. He says, but a thoughtful person engaged in devotional service can achieve the supreme without delay. It will take us years and years, and I don't say even years, you say births and births and birth, just to understand and live by one verse of Bhagavad Gita. There are 700 verses in Bhagavad Gita. There are 18,000 verses in Srimad Bhagavatam. What is the level of perfection that a person can actually come in this material world, being in this material world? No, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. We cannot perform uncontaminated, unmotivated devotional service to the Supreme Lord. It's very difficult because we are living in a Kali Yuga, in a yuga where there are only faults, there are only mistakes. How can we attain perfection? How can we be the best in this world? It's not possible. So, but here Krishna is giving the answer. He says that if we perform devotional service as it has been given to us in the scriptures by our Guru, by our Shastras, right, by the sadhus, and we take that association and we serve in that association with full sincerity, with the only expectation that yes, this is an opportunity that will actually purify my sins, purify me from all the contamination in my life, and somehow or the other, I get the opportunity to serve the devotees with all sincerity and follow them. Then Krishna is pleased, and what does he do? He says, Na chirena adhigacchati. That means one will attain Krishna very quickly, without any delay. And when you attain the Supreme, what is that you need in this world? You have attained Krishna, your life is perfect. That is the goal of life. That is all about taking the services in the, we actually take up the services so that we can please Krishna. But Krishna here is saying that when I'm pleased with your service, you will attain me. See, here we are serving the devotees of Krishna. We are serving Krishna also. And we are serving the devotees of Krishna. So Krishna is pleased. And then Krishna will definitely be attained. This Krishna consciousness will definitely be attained even in this small span of life in this human being, which is temporary. We never know how long we're going to live. So we have a very short time. Prabhupada says, this human life is very short. Don't waste it. Just engage yourself in Krishna consciousness and your life will be perfect. With that, we'll conclude today. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you very much for giving your time. And we'll meet again next week. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, श्रील गुरुदेव की जय, समस्त
जय
गौर भक्त वृंद की जय
जय
निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
हिज ग्रेस महावासु गोपास प्रभु जी की
जय
जय
थैंक यू वेरी मच
थैंक यू वेरी मच प्रभु हरे
थैंक यू वेरी मच
कृष्ण
वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर गिविंग द अपॉर्चुनिटी। हरे कृष्ण
हरे
हरे कृष्ण।